Well, good morning. Well, at least it's morning where I am, and I want to get this quiche into the oven. Now, this recipe is from my friend Sally, and she made it for me when I couldn't cook last year. And it's delicious. I love what she does. It is not a traditional pie crust, but she uses hash browns as your crust. So what we need is, I do have a 9-inch pie plate. I have 3 cups of frozen hash browns, which I've thawed. Then you take the hash browns and you put them in a towel and you squeeze out as much moisture as you can. Makes them nice and fluffy. And it doesn't sog up in your pan. So that's 3 cups of frozen 3 cups of frozen shredded hash browns. I have a 1/4 cup of butter, which I'm going to melt. I have a cup of pepper jack over here and a cup of Swiss. I have a cup of fully diced ham, a 1/2 cup of cream, and 2 eggs. Now look at these eggs. Aren't they beautiful? They're from my friend Sue's ladies. She brings them to church, and oh, they're so good when they're fresh like that. There's nothing like it. Okay, let's get this going. First we have to load up the pie pan. Now I've melted my 1/4 cup of butter, and I'm going to use some of that to grease the pie pan. There. Then I'll pour the rest over the hash browns when they're in the pan. See, that wasn't hard, no. Now I'm going to put the hash browns in. Remember, I've thawed them, and then I put them between towels so that they would be dry. See how fluffy they are? And I'm going to put this all the way in the bottom and push it up on the top. See that? We're going to press it in. That's what you're doing. You're making yourself a nice crust that goes up the sides of the pie pan. And because of my wanting for perfection, I'll be working on this a bit. No, it's looking pretty good right now. I like to have a good amount of crust on the bottom though too, is what I'm looking at. Okay, that looks really good. Now, you take the rest of the butter and you drizzle it over this. A lot of butter, huh? Alright, now this is ready to go into a 425 degree oven for 20 to 25 minutes. You want to get the edges brown. In she goes. I brought out the pie plate with the hash browns in it, and it baked 25 minutes at 425 degrees. I've now turned down my oven to 350. So I'm going to mix together my ham, my Swiss, and my pepper jack. And while I do that, I'm going to tell you a little story about the pepper jack. So this is really half baked. Half baked. There's got to be a joke there somewhere. Anyway, I get up and I thought I thawed the pepper jack. No, it was a frozen lump. So I put it in the microwave. I've defrosted cheese in the microwave before, and I had it on low, and came out a glob. So I stuck it back in the freezer to let it freeze up a little bit while this was baking, because it's half baked, and then I could shred it. But then, you know, it turned into a glob, but remember, I am half baked. There, I got it out of my system. Okay, we're going to put this in. I'll stop now. I'm going to move that forward so you can see this. Okay, see that? Now I'm going to whisk my 2 eggs, my 1/2 cup of cream, and my 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and we love pepper, so I did add a 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. Do as you like. The original recipe doesn't really call for it. There goes the cream. Here comes the spices. I am going to pour this over this, and then we're going to bake it for 25 minutes at 350 degrees, and then it will be done. This will soak in. You think, oh no, it's gonna... No, it'll soak in. It'll be fine. I'll move this a little bit over this way. Alrighty, righty. Now this is going back in the oven for what? 25 minutes at 350 degrees. This has been in the oven for 25 minutes, but the true test is you put in a knife. That's not done. When you cook these things, you should be able to insert a knife and it comes out clean like that. Well, mine wasn't quite done, so I had to put it back in. This is a day of bloops, I guess. I guess if you never have bloops in the kitchen, that must mean you eat out all the time. Anyway, I'm going to let this sit for a minute and I'll cut it up, and it smells and looks good. Can you see this beautiful quiche? The eggs are done, but I do have some runny cheese. I let it in there probably about 28 minutes just to make sure. The quiche is beautiful. One thing I forgot to add is that I like to let it sit for a few minutes because then all the melted cheese kind of sets up again. I like this especially even after it's cooled and I reheat it or don't even reheat it. But this is a nice solid quiche. Give it a try.